Hello, hello, testing, testing. Hey, everybody, hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today. The market definitely did not have a good weekend here, so we're going to talk about that and a lot of other stuff here. Hope you guys all had a really good holiday weekend here. I know these past couple days have just been wild with the economy, the market, and stuff like that. Loki also says hello here, excuse me. I've been pretty busy the last few days, and oh, you guys may notice I am now wearing contacts again. These contacts don't really fit as much as I would like them to, so I might have to get another pair. But yo, there you go. But so I'm gonna get some new ones here. But I'm probably gonna start wearing contacts more instead of wearing my traditional glasses, which are a little bit dirty now since I haven't worn them in a few hours. But hope you guys have all been doing well. Hey Joseph, happy to see you back again. And dude, definitely look into AI. I'll start up another stream here pretty soon. You guys know I have the second channel here, and we can just dive deep into all this stuff. If I go over here very fast and I go over to YouTube, I have another channel that I haven't really been using at all over the past few months. It's called What's Going On Right Now. I messed up with the title here. Basically, all it does right now is just kind of move people over to this main channel because when this channel was banned and YouTube made a mistake, while they took a month to figure it out, like, oh wow, we really messed up this guy's channel. I was doing this channel, right? So what I'm gonna rename this to something else. I don't know what it is gonna be, but basically it's just gonna be me live streaming about stuff I like. It could be video games, it could be anything. But basically, whenever on my computer and I'm doing some work, I'll probably be live streaming. This could be making a tutorial. This could be a lot of other stuff, but mostly I would say gaming, what I want to talk about, news out there, whether it's more Twitter stuff. If I find some good news to talk about, basically something I'm personally interested in that's not totally revolving around the economy, I'll be talking about it. So basically, all I got right now is I got to change the username, I got to change the name of the channel, but I'm going to keep this background here, and I'm going to keep this crystal logo, and then maybe over time I'll start moving some stuff over. But yeah, that's what I'm going for right now. But as far as the overall market, everybody, get ready for a long haul here because I was optimistic that we would have a chance to really pop up and have one more pop back up to maybe 18,000, back up into this level of resistance, right? Kind of back up into here to this range because we had our golden cross. Things were looking a little bit brighter. But what happened? No. The NASDAQ and the SPY continued to get slammed down harder. They didn't even stop a beat. Tesla's been falling off, a huge move here, having some really bad moves here. Same with the rest of the market. Actually, Tesla was the only green thing I think today. But just so you guys can see, typical Fibonacci extension level right here. We talked about this a little bit last week before the holiday weekend, but we had been trying to break above that as well as the 50-day moving average, as well as the 20-day moving average. We still have been unable to close above any of that. We failed barely to close above the 50 right here. We opened up above the 50, then what happened? We got slammed back down, and now we're getting back down to that 16,500 range that we've been talking about time in and time out. What needs to happen over the next few days, everybody, especially as we kind of finish off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so to speak, we really just don't want to fall back below $16,000 or $16,256. If that's the case, we're probably going to set into a new lower low situation where we might eventually come back up and bounce off of the 15,900 level, but we're going to be in a bad downtrend that's going to be a pain in the butt to get out of. So imagine something like this. It doesn't have to be that exact, but we'll be coming down here a little bit more than we might like to, okay? Now, as far as the other market's concerned, or let's actually, before we go over to the stock market here, and hey, Bideford, happy to see you back. Hey, Patrick, Canada, Cap, hope you guys have been doing good. Tony, Max Power, guys, I had a fantastic Christmas. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys all had good Christmases as well. Full Bear, make sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh no, Starscream, okay. Oh man, and I'm glad you're happy your puts have been printing. Puts have just been going crazy this week. So let's exit out all this stuff here as far as Bitcoin. Let's go over to the monthly chart and the weekly chart here just so we can see some things. Probably best to go over here to this one. Now, okay, let me just hide the algo here for a second. Although this might be kind of useful. Yeah, we can talk about this. Okay. So you see right here, what I just have is a really basic Fibonacci retracement level going back from the lows we had in 2015. Oh, my head is really just blocking a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's close that down just a little bit there. There we go. And that first really large level of support that we have to deal with, it's right over here around, what is the exact number? 16,164. All right. This is on Tether to Bitcoin. We have yet to close down below this. We've come close, right? This is on the weekly chart. We came close, 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 bounced off of it. Then we're getting closer again. At the end of the day, no matter what happens this week, this weekend, and next weekend, I really just want to see us close above this. I think this is one of those things that leads to another capitulation event as far as crypto is concerned. And that capitulation might take us back down here to the $14,000, $13,000 range. But I would hate to see that happen, especially right now. But the way the stock market's looking, it's just not looking overall too great, right? On a more longer term scale. Now, if I go over here very fast, and then we go look at the regular markets, you guys can see today, Dow was down, NASDAQ was down, and the S&P was down. The only green thing on my chart was Tesla, and that's because Tesla had a really bad day yesterday, and the market's just, figuring that out again, right? But if we go over here to the NASDAQ, here's the weekly chart as well. We all know this was going to happen, but man, this is happening aggressively. There's been a full-on panic over the past few weeks. But what's about to happen here on the weekly chart? Something we've talked about for the past few months, but now it's actually about to happen. Looks like next week, maybe this week if we're lucky. Well, I don't know if you want to call it luck, right? But what are we going to have happen here? Sorry, Loki's walking around by my feet. We're about to have a death cross here between the 20-week moving average and the 200 weekly moving average. It's coming, and it's coming down fast. It's coming fast, excuse me. What you guys need to have happen, or what we want to see happen here for a potential buy, is we want to see if one or two things could happen. Can we hold $10,440? Is this support all-time 52-week lows, I guess you would say, even though 52-week lows, I would say. We can't keep on saying new lows because the year is almost over, right? So we want to hopefully see that this has a nice bounce off it, because if it doesn't, then we're starting back down on that path, and we could actually go down as far as like $10,000 back down here to the support level over there, right before COVID hit us, around $9,800, and that might be your next big buying zone where you could have your pivot. But that could mean like all of January is just really, really bad. February may be kind of good, more optimistic, kind of bouncing. March could be really, really bad, and then we kind of keep on going back into that cycle here. Because if we kind of follow this little theme here, it's a little bit different. Each one's a little bit different. But we did have about 2 months of going down here, actually, I should say that, a little less than 2 months, right? But full on 1 week, about 3 weeks of going up. Then, of course, we had about, let's see what this was, 70 days. A little over 2 months again coming down. And then after that, we had about 2 months of going back up. Again, 2 months of going down. This time it shortened up to about a month and a half going up. A little bit less than a month and a half actually going up. And I think now the reality of the market's irrationality is starting to set in. So I think whenever we actually hit that time frame, or that $9,700 range, $9,800 range, I think that's when I might try to buy up some more. But that's if Apple, as well as all these indexes, are hitting some large levels of support. If we go back up just a little bit, just like how we had Bitcoin's chart on that larger Fibonacci retracement level here, you can see that this hasn't really been working depending on which ones you use. So you can see maybe a little bit there, not so much there, maybe a little bit here, right? But we haven't really been able to find one that's been a good hold just yet. The more I go down, the more I'm just like, wow, this kind of sucks. Maybe go all the way over here to the 2008 lows. And if we are going to try to hit that, that's not until $8,500 as far as the NASDAQ is concerned, which we could hit during this scenario. But you can see it's been a very big pain to actually try to figure out where these next big pivots are. It's mostly when we have good economic news, like a good earnings report, or maybe some type of bullish momentum, like a golden cross, something like that, whether it's just on the daily or the weekly, but it's not going to happen on the weekly for a while, right? As far as the SPY is concerned, we've been trying to hold over this 50-week moving average, next couple weeks, we're going to put that to the test. If we break down below that, I think we may come down a little bit further, but I really think the worst of it is probably just going to be happening towards January with earnings season, and maybe in February, but maybe early February. And then we should breathe for at least a few weeks, and then come quarter 2, that's when shit really hits the fan. But I'm hoping, we're kind of in the middle of a drop off here. You guys can see, we had one here, we had one here, we had a little bit one there. We're kind of in the middle of it right now. But again, death cross coming, plus on top of that, another death cross coming on the 50 to 200 weeklies moving averages. We're looking for a pretty pessimistic 2023. The economy is not doing good. We just passed a massive spending bill. That's not good, right? Everybody's worrying about our debt all of a sudden. And the rest of the world isn't faring much better, right? So, for the next few days and stuff like that, I'll be doing a member stream. I was supposed to do one on Monday, but I got busy. I'm going to be looking at some of these smaller support levels, do stuff like this, and trying to play those bounces, but only for a couple day trades. You can go back over here to the NASDAQ as well, see if tomorrow maybe we have some type of bounce if we're lucky. If not, I'll take the L and just kind of wait it out a little bit. But the NASDAQ is getting much lower to those lows over here than the SPY, right? So I think the NASDAQ should have a bounce here pretty soon as the SPY kind of drags down just a little bit more here. As far as the Dow, though, just like what happened during the dot-com bubble, let's be honest, Dow Jones is always a little bit different, right? This is not the big drop-off that the NASDAQ had. Yeah, see that big old drop during the dot-com bubble? The Dow Jones is not used to doing that. Oh gosh, I hate when it does it. There you go. Right? Does not do that at all. Kind of capitulates at the very end, and when finally the NASDAQ gives up, that's usually when the market bottom is. But this is just holding on to that support level that we saw a while ago, just barely holding on, if anything, to the 50-week moving average. I would have to say the Dow Jones is going to have to crash down pretty hard to catch back up. But I would say, it was heading for that golden, that death cross. Kind of bounced off of it, though. Look at that nice little move. This is going to come down pretty hard, but I think this might come down more with earnings and not so much of just following the NASDAQ and the SPY and that type of stuff. But okie dokie, let's go over here very fast. As far as everything else, everybody, let's just do a quick recap. As far as Ethereum, that breakdown, still kind of reeling from that. But we had an opportunity, just like Bitcoin, to break above the 50 and the 20-day moving averages. Just like Bitcoin, we got close, but we eventually got knocked back down. Now that golden cross that was there has now turned to a death cross. Well, Bitcoin still hasn't turned into a death cross just yet. But this signal definitely is not what we wanted to be seeing, especially because a lot of times Ethereum does lead the way for Bitcoin, even though people don't talk about it. Now we just have to worry about Ethereum trying to hold it at 1,151 level. If we can do that, that's awesome. If not, we're going to be testing out the lows and coming back down here towards 1,000. So within 30 days, we might be back under $1,000 for Ethereum again, or at least having tested it out. And that'll bring us back down over here to around the $900 level, maybe at worst high 800s. But I still think there's going to have to be a pretty negative move for that to actually happen. But for now, I'm patiently watching. I'm just patiently watching Ethereum as well as Bitcoin. All of our trend lines have already been broken down, right? Broke down, rejected, came back down. Next one we really have is right here. So maybe if you don't want to go off of that support level right here, maybe you can go off of this trend line. That means you buy kind of around 1,124, and it's currently 1,190, so not too much further off. But just in case you guys want to do that. And again, over the weekly chart, let me get rid of all this stuff. We just had the death cross between the 20 and the 200. Not a good sign at all. Bitcoin, it already happened a while ago. But now we have to worry about the 50 and the 200. Ethereum is a little bit behind the curve. Everything else going on right now, let me just get out of this. Ethereum Classic still coming back down. I'm not going to really go into it too much, but everything's coming back down. Dogecoin coming back down. BNB coming back down a little bit here. ADA, I sold out of a lot of my ADA months ago because of, we talked about eToro delisting them, and I just kind of got cold feet and was like, uh-oh, what's going on here? Let me just be safe. This is as the Luna stuff was happening, so I just kind of got cold feet on it. This thing is just crumbling week after week. There's not really much support here. If I could go over to an ADA chart that maybe was a little bit longer time frame for you guys, Maybe on Coinbase. No, apparently not. Crypto. There we go. You can see we've had support levels we could have tried to hold. So maybe I put one right, here. See how we held that for a little bit of time? We got one down here at 15 cents. We got maybe one right there. That next support level for ADA maybe just around 20 cents. And that's a while if 24 cents that we are now. This thing is just falling off of a cliff. So be careful if you're in this one. I'm just not happy with it at all. Like during the rally, it did have a great rally from those COVID lows. If I just go over in the middle zone of those lows, it ran up like a lot. It ran up for a 0.03 to $3.30. It was fantastic. The project is good. I'd probably buy some of this during next year, a lot of it probably. But right now, this is probably like one of the worst performers that I'm watching. So just be careful with it. It really shows how bad it is when you look at the monthly chart. It's just in free for all right now. So just be careful with it. That next level of support really is going to be down here. There you go. Right around 14, 15 cents. STMX definitely falling. This is a lower market cap one, so it didn't really have the big boom as before. But this is one of those YOLOs, not even YOLOs, just something that it's a business making money. So I'm putting money into it to see what happens. Not a lot of money though, mostly trading to make a profit. Solana. Again, this had some bad news with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried crashing down the monthly. You can see right here, Matic. This is something that I think will fall down so hard, so fast. This to me is like Tesla before Tesla started to fall. So if you guys have been watching the news over the past few weeks, you guys know that Tesla has taken a big hit in market cap. Not as big as Apple, I guess, this year. Apple's had more losses than Tesla. They won't tell you that, but it's true. But let me see if I can just show you guys something, a comparison. So, actually, how old is Tesla? Does it go back to 2008? No. 2012? I guess that's when the economy started ticking back up, didn't it? Okay, well, let's just go from here. Apple right here. Go 2012. Oh, yeah, they both picked up at the same time. That's a good example to be using them. So you can see from like right before the market really started to pop up for both Tesla and Apple. Apple ran up around 1,300%. It's a massive move. There's a lot of money being poured in this. 1,300%. You got over here Tesla, same type of thing. Ran up right over here. 20,000%. This is why Tesla's falling like a rock, right? But if you guys would have noticed over the past year, you can see how it only recently capitulated. Right over here last month is when it started. Once we started breaking down below the supports there and the supports there, we talked about this a while ago. However, you can see what happens when it finally capitulates. Apple, on the other hand, it hasn't capitulated yet. We're just now seeing that first level. After that comes this next level. Sometime in Q2, we could see Apple all the way back down around $70, $80. Now that seems incredibly ludicrous, but again, a lot of these stocks have just had the craziest of runs. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of people in the crypto niche like myself keep on making fun of people on CNBC, sometimes Fox Business, sometimes Bloomberg, a lot of CNBC, is because the news anchors seem to like just say that, oh yeah, they haven't moved up that much in asset price. Like it's not, stocks don't move like crypto. They only move in steady amounts and stuff like that. And then you see over here from 2013, Apple to all-time highs ran up around 1,300%. That's a lot, right? When you consider that back over here from just like 2000, I don't know, what's over here, the 97, even through all this stuff over here, right over there to the 2008, 6,000%, all right? That took about, oh, I suck at this, 123 months. That took like 10 years, right? Then all of a sudden we're in this really big boost mode. You're going to see a lot of stuff come down pretty hard, especially if earnings don't keep up. And I don't know who's going to want to be buying a $1,000 iPhone when they lost their job. And when they're afraid that they may lose their job. That's the more important part. People are going to be afraid they're going to lose their job. They're not going to be trying to go for those bigger salary positions. But yeah, so I think Tesla's just leading the way here. And if Tesla's leading the way, Apple is a big portion of the NASDAQ, right? I think that's going to lead the NASDAQ down a lot more here. Same with Microsoft, right? Microsoft, it never really actually had that level of support here, but it has the level of support, oops, a daisy, right around here. There we go. We're about to test it, I would say, sometime in February, March. If we break down below that, that's when things are a little bit nasty. We come back down here, but I like Microsoft more than Apple for next year personally. But we've already seen stuff like Netflix. See what happens when it breaks down below these levels, right? Breaks down below those levels. It comes down really, really hard. It tried to hold some semblance of support from this level and that level. When it wasn't able to, it just plummeted. And again, that's earnings and stuff. We see Amazon. What's happening right now? It couldn't hold this first level, obviously, because that's the all-time highs. Now we're coming back down to test at this level. What happens if we can't hold this level? All of a sudden, it's coming back down to 40 bucks. We could move down really fast. So just like how we were talking about Tesla dropping down like a rock, I think this was the easiest one for us to talk about because of just your basic technicals, your basic levels of support and resistance, right? Tesla's interesting because it ran up so much and so fast, and so it's coming down just as fast. But it's just kind of beating everything to the punch, and I think a lot of that had to do primarily a little bit with Elon moving over to Twitter as far as buying it. But I think the really big thing here is Elon Musk selling shares. Maybe it spooks some investors out, especially as everybody thinks we're heading into a recession. Whereas, you know, back over here when the market was a little bit more choppy or inflation was kind of raging, but people weren't panicking as much, what did people say? You know, inflation is transitory. We're not going to go into a recession. We're going to raise interest rates, but we're not going to go into a recession. We're going to have this soft landing. They kind of have to keep changing their stance every few months as things get worse and the outlook gets worse. But I think Tesla is just the beginning of a larger symptomatic move that's going to cause a lot of pain to a lot of people. This is mostly in the tech realm, though. Because just because they fall like a rock doesn't mean I'm not going to be buying them like crazy. Just so you guys know. Tesla, great company. I'm going to buy it. Apple, great company. I'm going to buy it. Google, Microsoft, great companies. I'm going to buy it. But I know they're going to probably come down a lot more since everything's soured so much. And the market is now starting to not be as irrational as I was saying it was. You guys have heard me rant about the economy way too much. And you even got Meta over here. Oops, a daisy again. Jeez, I keep on drawing on this. But you can see how once you start breaking down below the support levels here, things can get nasty really, really fast. It's already below the COVID lows. It's already below the 2018 lows. So, you know, now we're testing out these lows after everything's said and done. And maybe we'll work it out. But, I don't know. Meta is something I've already bought quite a bit of. So, but mostly down here. So some of it's up, some of it's something overall up like a little bit. But you can even see good companies like AVG, right? They're testing out those support levels right now, just waiting to see what happens when they break down. Then they come back down to the pre-COVID highs. For this company, it's around 350, but right now it's at 544. Big drop. So this is what I'm looking at going into 2023, just so you guys know. I'm dollar cost averaging a little bit even right now. I told you guys I bought Amazon at $95. It's currently at 81, right? Dollar cost averaging. I know I'm going to suffer some losses, but I still want to get some good prices because Amazon was at 190. Getting it like at a half off discount, you know, I'm kind of stupid for buying it now, but you're buying it then. But you know what? I still want a little piece of the pie, so to speak. And then you got all types of other crazy stuff like MU here. That could come down a lot further. But just broke down below support. It could break down next month. And then we have to follow this next support level from the COVID lows. So not every company is the same, of course. But just be careful because once we start breaking down below these support levels here, things can get really nasty in a hurry. And right now, a lot of companies are close or at those support levels. So we could be looking at that next big move here fairly soon. Although, I guess one other thing here, guys. Oil is its own little beast. I told you guys I'm scaling out of my oil plays, that ones that have low dividends. High dividend oil plays, I'm continuing to stay in them because I bought them a while ago back when I was telling you guys, hey everybody, gas prices are going up. You might as well buy some oil stocks. I said oil and healthcare. But if you guys are getting into oil personally, it will kind of at those highs right here, and it takes a while usually for oil companies to really make big moves. This is Chevron. Um, if you guys do want to go down that route, I'm just going for high dividend plays right now. If I'm adding to any positions, like I added some to my PXD position, like $1,000 plus reinvested some dividends. So this is PXD. Doesn't look like it's come down a lot, but it has come down a lot. So but I bought it kind of down here back when COVID was happening, because a friend of mine was like, hey, this is a high interest, high dividend percentage play you might like. But it's come down like 22% or something from the highs it experienced a few months ago. But yeah, there you go. That's a better way to say it. I'll show it to you. But yeah, so these are some of the things I'm looking at. I do think eventually this should break down if oil prices continue to capitulate, or if oil prices break down, I think below like the 70s range or something like that. But yeah, kind of sums up my thoughts on this overall market. If you guys want some safe havens, stuff like Visa hasn't fallen off a cliff because spending is still going on. But I think with the death crosses coming over here, that's not going to be a good sign. Last time we had some death crosses, does not even show it. No, it doesn't even show it here. Maybe MasterCard. That's Macy's. This is MasterCard. No, it's not going to give me enough data to do it. But yeah, there would have been some death crosses around here. The death cross is happening right here. These things should fall fairly soon, I think. People are basically running out of spending or running out of savings. So once people stop running out of, when they actually run out of money, they can't take out any more cards or debt. That's where the economy starts chugging down a little bit more here. But good for Tesla, making a little bit of an upward move today after just like fully capitulating here. If we go over to a daily chart, you can just see the difference in how once you start breaking down below those moves, you see how you get a little bit of a ricochet within that zone. Now we're testing out here. We should have a little bit of a bounce back up, and then maybe as the economy gets sour, we start heading back down here. But you might be able to buy a Tesla around $60 before all said and done. Hopefully it doesn't come down that low. I'd buy it at that low. But it depends on how bad the economy really does get. Right now, we know there's probably going to be a recession. We don't know if it's going to be a devastating recession or something more simple, right? Where it's just kind of, we go up to like 4 or 5% unemployment, but people aren't rioting and stuff like that. If you guys would remember, go back over here to Bitcoin first. Over this summer, I was telling you guys when oh my gosh, it was way earlier than that. This year has kind of moved kind of fast. You guys remember when Russia invaded Ukraine? And I made this whole thing about, hey, everybody, I'd be stocking up on some grains right now because we could see some grain shortages. And I kind of said something to the effect where, we probably won't run out of grain here in America because we have the purchasing power to buy it from somebody else. But I told you guys, usually when we have these types of issues with food, whether it be grain, or just grains in general, because a lot of wheat comes from Ukraine. I had told you guys that, what did I say? Let me try to reiterate the phrasing of this. When countries face supply shortages and the lack of food, you normally see lots of unrest. And I think that unrest is probably going to happen even more over the next few months. And it'll be interesting to see how the supply chain try to fix that. I know we've been having more issues in Central America. There's been tons of riot in Brazil. There's a coup attempt in Peru, which is all kind of weird because I'm not even into Peru. Peru is totally crazy. I've had to watch like so many different news organizations to try to get a grip of what's happening in Peru because like CNN, Fox Business, MSNBC, none of them exactly know what's happening. ABC News, CNBC News, CBS News, none of them know what's going on down there. So I've had to go to look at these like professors and business guys from Peru and around the region to try to figure out what's going on because it's just the craziest story ever. And how it's like imagine Barack Obama or Trump tried to, or this could be a Clinton or a Bush thing too. I'm just thinking when we got more divisive. I think more of you guys would understand this. It was a Barack Obama quote. Not quote, but imagine Barack Obama tried to pass healthcare back in 2008, but Congress was saying no. So imagine he tried to dissolve Congress, and Congress was like, obviously, no, you can't dissolve us. We're going to impeach you. And they impeach him, okay? But then imagine that the person that replaces him is not Joe Biden, but it's Mitch McConnell. And think of how crazy mad liberals would be and how excited Republicans would be. That's kind of what's happening down there because of how crazy their system is. Although it's the vice president that got set up, but he tried to do like a moderate approach. So everybody's mad. And it's like the government's like killing their own people, which is like wild. But, you know, unrest is bound to happen. When I move to Nicaragua in a couple of years, maybe next year if I'm lucky, I'm going to be just living my life chill. And I'm probably going to start a mini company just for the fun of it to see if I could help people that want to move down to Nicaragua, But that's something else. But okay, that's ADHD taking over right there. And hey, GT, happy to see you back, everybody. Hey, Alex, hope you're doing well. Cardona Upo. What do you call it? Do I think NVIDIA can keep breaking down? Where is it next support? As far as NVIDIA is concerned, here, let's take a quick peek at it. So let's take a couple peeks at this right now. So NVIDIA is back in that. It's going to get more choppy here fairly soon, but it has bounced into that support zone. You can see it bounced off of the 200 weekly moving average just once before eventually just coming back down. I think this can keep falling down, but it's going to have to take a breather. So let's go to the daily chart. Over the next few days, you may see an opportunity for it to bounce somewhere off of this range right here between 130 and 140, which is a pretty big range. And then that might be a loading zone if you want to play the rebound. Personally, for me, I'd want to be what is this? Playing the breakdowns and not so much the breakouts. But NVIDIA has been, how do I say this? Hedge funds, people with large amounts of money have been like really trying to just get weak hands out of things like NVIDIA. So what I mean by that is, I think Bideford had asked about NVIDIA a few weeks ago, okay? And we had been talking about how we're in this nice little wedge. Normally when we're in a wedge like this, we break down. And she was asking me right up here, like, hey, should I be buying some puts? And we went over here to this website called Whale Trade. And we looked at all the puts, and I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many puts against NVIDIA. So what I would do is, because I think we're at a resistance level, I'd be placing a bet here. This is like one of those things to talk about for a week or a few days, because normally I do day trading right now. And I was like, okay, well, I could look at something like, 170, 165 puts, and I'll hold them for a few days, like a week, and see if they print me any money, especially because the price is at 175. 175 to down here, that's about a 5%. That's at $8 down. That's a great play right there. But what happened? We popped out of nowhere to shake everybody out, because people would have panicked, their stop losses might have hit, and then all of a sudden, boom, then we came crashing down. And then what happened after that, right? We broke down, we popped back up, and then we proceeded to crash down. So this is something where if you want to trade it, you're going to have to just trust the technicals and just wait it out, because this is something that I just haven't seen something like this in a long time, where it says breakout, it says breakdown, but just boom, little pop and bounce, it comes back down. So it's not necessarily synced up to the NASDAQ, and so that means that when the NASDAQ kind of hits a support level, it kind of bounces this up, which you kind of have to be aware of, okay? So when you're trading NVIDIA, also kind of have a peek of what the NASDAQ is doing. Otherwise, you may see some weird things and like, why I don't understand why this is happening. But if you hold, you're fine, right? Even if you opened up a put right here, right at the breakdown, because we closed down below the trend line, right? If you would have waited, 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, so 4 trading days, you could have made 11%, 12% shorting with options. Oh gosh, that could be like 200-300% right there just for holding for 4 trading days. But you kind of have to be willing to just like, hey, whoa, something weird's happening right here. I don't know what it is, and then you got to play it out, right? So careful with it. This is something that I like on the member stream. I think you would remember we talked about, hey, this is one of my favorite things to be looking for puts right now, but it's making it harder than it has to be because these market makers, these hedge fund guys, they are playing this like crazy. But luckily we managed to break down here, continuing to move back down. But careful with this one. They're playing some tricks on people right now, and it's hard to kind of figure that out. Oh, but one more thing here. As far as support right now, you got a little bit of a range right here around 138 to 130. If you wanted to buy, that could be it. I'm looking at this multi-day resistance range right here, kind of around 138. Kind of matches up to what we saw today. If you wanted to buy, you might be able to have a pop off of this tomorrow. Again, for that, you would have to go take a quick peek at the NASDAQ here and be like, okay, what's the NASDAQ doing? Is the NASDAQ almost out of support? Oh, yeah, it is getting close to support. So what does that mean? It's there's a little bit of support level right there as far as the daily. Maybe we go down a little bit, depending on which support level we want to use here for the day. Maybe we start off something like this, where the market opens up. Maybe the market opens up somewhere down below this line, or it opens up right up here. We go down and we come to contact, and we bounce off. As soon as this moves up, or we come closer to like that, I would take a day trade and just try to day trade it from here to somewhere around here. Take my money and run. If you wanted to do something that leads you to Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, then you'd be buying some positions for Nvidia that maybe would bring you up to here first of all. So that's intraday. You don't have to worry about that as much. Maybe over here by Friday, Saturday. So maybe by Monday, you could be hoping for 10,800 as far as the NASDAQ is concerned. So if we were to put that with Nvidia here, maybe that brings you back up here towards 145. If you wanted to hold until Monday, so expiration out for next Friday, and I would really just have this be a 145 strike price, maybe a 144, maybe a 142.5, probably 144 actually like that, and then just play it out for the nice little rebound. So what I'll do for you here is, we'll come back and talk about this over the next few days because I know everybody likes NVIDIA. We'll kind of just watch to see if it followed this general trend or if it came down here a little bit more aggressively. But this is something I'd be more hopeful for because the NASDAQ is trying to hold that support level right now. Trying to hold. We'll know tomorrow if it's going to hold or not. But by the end of the day, I would still be available to be opening a trade today or yesterday. Or yesterday's is today, right? But yeah, I'd be willing to do that. 145, 144, 143 strike price for next Friday. I doubt they're too expensive. But I tell you what, if you go over here and you look for something on the option flow stuff, you're going to see today, I mean, let's see. A lot of people are buying puts. 14,120,000, January 20th, 2023. Above the ask. I mean, they are loading up for this to crash next year, next January, upcoming month. However, this is for, again, towards the end of January. So if you're looking for a short-term play, like I like to do it for 1 or 2 days, then you're good. If you're hoping for something a little bit longer, you can go for it back up here to maybe 148 price target, maybe to close this old gap up here of 149. Just be careful. The reason I'm day trading is because this happens a lot, and then all of a sudden we come back down. I'm just being very cautious in this new market. But, I mean, here, premium. Again, 120, 2023, put strike at the ask, $38 million premium, strike 230, okay? In the money, in the money, in the money, in the money, anything out of the money here, probably not for these higher premiums. 230, 140, this is a call. So this is for 2024, don't worry about that. 317, 240, 140. Whoa. So this is a call bought. Wait, no, I did something wrong here. Oh, it doesn't matter. I shouldn't have clicked that. Can I undo it by clicking that? Yeah, okay. There was something I wanted to see here. 120. It's adjusting it. Oh, it's loading up new stuff. And okay, never mind. It looks like there was a pretty aggressive call there for a second. 119. Yeah. Be careful. Most are placing some really big bets on this thing. It's going to come down and make some profit off of it. These are safe plays that hedge funds do because they're so far in the money. The strike price here is 230, whereas I'd be buying at a strike price of 150. But this is puts we're talking about, so yeah. But yeah, careful with it. Be very, very careful. But tomorrow, if you wanted to take that bounce, definitely would do that. Tomorrow, I'm thinking of hopping on the stream live, probably whenever I wake up, to be honest. And I will just be doing technical analysis throughout the day. I think it'd be kind of fun. Just chill out, do technical analysis, and kind of watch stuff play out through the day. And we can see if the NASDAQ and Nvidia and those type of plays bounce off of it. It won't be purely technical analysis. It'll probably be like technical analysis, Twitter, option flow data, news. A lot of news about what's going on. And just kind of looking at it. TV. But yeah, I'll probably do that whenever I wake up. It'll probably be around 8 o'clock my time, so that might be like noon Eastern time. I've been having a lot of trouble over the past few days, which is why I haven't been streaming as much. Getting to sleep, like enormous troubles getting to sleep. And so I've been taking some melatonin and stuff. And like my body fights the reason to go to sleep. So I keep on going to sleep around 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock and then just waking up whenever. Which has been like really bad for my trading, but it's like I usually don't trade much, honestly, towards the end of the year, just because it's like my time off. But like it's been horrible trying to get to sleep, and so I will just stay up longer than I need to, and I'll put away my phone, I'll leave the alarm on, and I just won't touch it. Then I'll just be literally laying in bed, and then I'll get really bored, and I'll start playing with Loki for a little bit, and then I'll take Loki outside, and then I'll play video games for a little bit, and then I go back to bed, and I'm still not tired. And then all of a sudden, I just like 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock roams around, and I'm just like, okay, now I'm finally out. But I don't know what it is. It's freaking annoying the crap out of me. So I'm gonna try to get that figured out, but I don't know exactly when I'll wake up tomorrow. But hopefully we can have a little bit of a rebound tomorrow, because we definitely need. I'm not talking about a weekly bear market rally full rebound, but we do need a couple days of healing here just to kind of get the market prepared for that next big drop. See, I'm full. Oh yeah, full bear. Yeah. What do you call it? Well, then the next few days, if it does bounce off and you don't want to do that day trade, it should set you up for a buying or a buying of put opportunity there for you. That way you can get a better move. But yeah, let me get my little back pouch. Yeah, there you go. There we go. I like the back support this chair off. But yeah, I'd be very, very cautious of it as far as trying to hold on to it too long as far as calls or expecting it to go up. So yeah, definitely a bear on here as well. But again, if you guys have noticed any stocks that have been very volatile over the past few weeks, like they have come down a lot of times those will probably rebound a lot, but then also crash back down very hard as well. One of the things that I was talking to you guys about before, I totally forgot. Matic is one of those things that has come up a lot. Do we have another Matic chart here? I bought a cup off of QVC, and it keeps stuff cold for days, like ice in here for days. It is amazing. And so I've been drinking a lot more water using it. I mean, can we go to Coinbase? Is that enough? No, I don't know why I have so much hope for Coinbase to stop, like to fix this stuff. Polynex. Gemini, Kraken, Capital.com. Okay, it's fine. It's not the end of the world here. All right. From here to like these lows we experienced in 2020. It ran up around 25,000%. It's massive. But from those all-time highs, it's only down about 73%. This thing will probably come down a lot more. This has been a really big move. This thing, I know it sounds weird saying it's only come down like in 70-something%, but This thing to me will probably retest the lows and even probably come down below them before all is said and done with how bad that market will probably get. So we could see this come back down from 77 cents back down here to 31. If you guys want to short this, or just want to be careful and say, whoa, now I can see that this is coming, just keep a close eye on that this monthly chart, excuse me. If it breaks down below 68 cents, that's when I would start to worry here. But because over the past few months, it came from 68 cents, 69 cents, up here, went up 91%, and then from there, now it's down from those highs around 40%. This is something that has to come down a lot. It's rare that I see an exception to the rule where it's going to have to eventually capitulate like everybody else does. You see XRP, this is 2021, and eventually capitulated here. It eventually gave up. It's not still hovering around here around $1, even though it came up to like $2. It eventually has to come back down. Bitcoin Cash, 2021. Let me go to the weekly chart. That way you guys can just see it a little bit larger. Bitcoin Cash is a little bit different because it didn't get to all-time highs, but it eventually has to give up here. Engine Coin, it eventually has to capitulate here. Litecoin, it eventually has to capitulate. And Litecoin's had a very great run over the past few months. ApeCoin eventually has to capitulate. Sheeb eventually has to capitulate. Mana, capitulate. FTM, capitulate. I just don't think that, while I do like Matic a lot, I think eventually it is going to have to come back down. And you saw how it capitulated before. This was a beautiful capitulation. Great buying opportunity. I bought a lot. I think it'll have to come down again. And right now, we're just trying to hold this very delicate support level here. It's delicate. Go back over here very fast. Right there. If we don't hold it, we might be coming back down here to 65 cents. 65 to 69 buying range. I'd probably try to skim for the 66, 65 range to buy it for a pop. But yeah, this is something where I just feel like it has to come down a lot more. Again, just like what we're talking about the Nasdaq and a lot of other stocks out there, when it finds that little range, it likes to bounce off of that range. It may come back over here and bounce, and it may not even go below this in 2023. Maybe that's as far as it goes. Who knows? But you could expect another big move, big move right now around that time. For now, people are just taking some shorts and hoping that it comes back down like that. Long-term shorts, right? So careful with it, but there's going to be some crazy stuff happening here soon enough, and Matic is not going to be, in my opinion, it's not going to be something that escapes all of that. Great for day traders or swing traders, though, if you like to trade shorts and longs and leverage and all that good Shazam stuff. Shazaz? I don't know. Let's see. 30th is the last day for tax. Yes, it is. I'm only playing the short put side until this market gets better. I'm 50% cash, 50% long-term puts for 2023. Each pump I buy more puts. Yeah, I mean, they've been working out pretty well. The market, for me, I personally don't really trade much during this time, or I should say this time, or this time. What I've been doing more recently, I guess more from this point on, this little box right here, what I've been deciding to do is really go aggressive puts right here, day trade like crazy for these 2 weeks usually, so these 2 weeks right here, and then I just kind of take this time off. I take this time off until we find some type of local bottom. Eventually we have a little bit of a pop week. That's when I start paying attention to it again, right? And then I look, okay, maybe there's an opportunity for some rebounds, and that's how I want to play this out. But usually I look for the pop before I switch my attitude and say, oh, let's go bullish for a little bit. We haven't had the pop yet. I'm waiting for it. The pop could happen right here, or it could happen down here, or maybe it'll happen down here. We don't know. But when that pop happens, I'm going to be happy to switch up my mentality, do a lot of day trading from here to here, here to here, here to here, whenever that happens. Sorry for all the squiggly lines. That's how I've been playing this. And then, of course, just not really doing much in these times. These times, to me, I can trade them on the upside and the downside, but part of me, honestly, is just kind of lazy. When I know the entire, I'm 80% certain when I move down here. 80% certain we're going to move down there. Over here, I'm like 50% certain because of this stuff, right? Of this middle ground stuff that I don't like. I'm always afraid of getting caught up in that. However, I have stop losses, so if I wanted to, I could. But maybe it's easier just to show you on something like this. When you see something like this, Apple isn't following that totally same downtrend. Whereas, go on something like that, Apple never came up here. So what I do is I have to try to mimic that versus the NASDAQ, which also didn't get up as high as the SPY. So I'm kind of using the SPY to gauge the NASDAQ to gauge Apple. Also while using Apple to gauge the NASDAQ. But you can see Apple right now, it still has a little bit of time to go down. But it could be coming back down here to 125, or even tomorrow, if it could reach 123, it could start low, then bounce off, and then we're kind of ricocheting back over here. I don't want to open a put right here and be afraid that it goes back up. But that's my personal trading style. Everybody has their own trading style, so don't try to mimic mine. But I like the fact that you're making some good money right here, and that's amazing. Okay, let me go back over here. 15. There we go. There we go right here. Let's do a nice little small uptrend and just kind of watch to see where that goes. Here. And then Tony, I know I try using Binance chart. Sometimes Binance doesn't go back as far as you would like it to. I don't know why, but certain exchanges do go back a certain amount of times. Usually Binance has some really good ones, but it all depends. So for instance, for Binance, this Bitcoin one is a Binance chart right here. Maybe I go over here. And you can see this monthly Bitcoin chart. It only goes back to 2017. However, if I go to this is why it says Coinbase right here. The Coinbase Bitcoin chart, it goes back even further. It's just the way everything works out. And when I think they actually decided to list the specific securities, I guess now we can call crypto securities, on their platform. But yeah, normally Coinbase takes the win. Although sometimes I'm seeing Kraken or Gemini beat them to it or have a longer history. Here we go. All right. Tony Matic back to 30, please. I mean, a lot of people would like that, and it's not out of the ordinary for that to happen. Thoughts on the S&P 500 yearly bearish engulfing? I mean, it looks pretty nasty, Patrick. I mean, everything is screaming down after we got rejected off of that trend line. All of you guys know what I'm talking about there, I think. As far as the SPY, to me, it's more of, can earnings in January stop this from happening? So, if earnings in January, if the guidance isn't too bad, we might drop down a little bit, but we won't have a terrible January, February, March. Or January, February, perhaps. When we have earnings later on in the year, maybe Q2, if that's how long it takes us to drop, we could actually have a pretty reasonable first quarter, a moderate second quarter, but towards the end of the second quarter, we just go into free fall mode. I hope that doesn't happen. I'd rather us just have a really bad second quarter entire, bad April, May, June, and maybe just a moderate to disappointing, January, February, March, maybe a down January, take February a little bit more sideways, partially up, and then probably March we kind of start to capitulate again, start to go back down south just a little bit. We'll kind of give up some of the gains that we might have experienced in February, and then March bring it back down, and then April that's the tank start once earnings comes out. So I don't know. Let's go over here to screen it very fast. Let's just do market cap. Let's just go to, let's just go to mega cap. $200 billion or more, right? There's only 37 of them. I wonder if I could, financials. No. Basic should have it, I believe. Earnings, I gotta figure out what the next earnings is. October 27th, October 28th. They gotta update these to like the following earnings. I guess it's not the new year yet. All right, let's go over here. Let's just go to Apple. Daily. Apple's earnings are January 23rd. Back over here. Let's go over. ABBV. Earnings January 23rd. Amazon. February 23rd. A little bit different. Netherlands Semiconductor. Sure, ASML. This might be a little bit different. ASML. I typed it in right. ASML. January 23rd. Avgo. I just had earnings, so a while away. March 23rd. AstraZeneca. Big company. Big company. What is that? AZN. February 23rd. Baba. Okay, not an American company, but still. On the exchange. Baba. January 23rd. So, you know, I would say within that month of January 23rd to February 23rd, everything's going to be driven by earnings. Because at this point, the way, in my opinion, the market's been kind of trying to navigate all of this stuff. There you go. When you read some of these 10K reports from last year that don't really talk about anything, all the bad carnage we've experienced this year, or you talk about the quarterly reports that we, for Apple, stuff like that, and they talk about guidance. They really, all of them have been giving themselves a rosy guidance for next year. If, however, they have to change tones now that the economy is starting to take a shift for the worse as far as interest rates still going higher, all these companies assume that interest rates might be cut next year, or that we might stop it, right? Kind of why they were so rosy. If they have to actually explain that, oh, whoa, with higher interest rates, economy slowing more than expected, lack of savings in accounts, so like, people spent a lot of their savings accounts for Christmas, right? With all that happening, they have to adjust. And those adjustments might be different, probably will be very different than the guidance we just got over the past quarter. When that hits the market, I think that's the big capitulation moment where we start to go into free fall for a little bit, and then we go sideways, and then maybe we have another dump eventually from the February, stuff like that, right? Well, not February, but March, April, where it kind of just cascades a little bit going forward. I don't think it'll all happen in one big move, but there'll be those big capitulation waves that we see during a bear market cycle. So one of the things we may go here is, hold on a second here. Let me see if I can find it while you guys look at this chart, because it is something I have trouble finding every now and again. I'm looking for savings account chart. Ah, this is going to be... thank you, Fed, for saving me. Okay. Personal savings rate. All right. So we can go over here, I guess. We can just go over here to 2005. It looks like we got a bad dip there before. 2005, 2006 savings rates were not that good. 2008 financial crisis happened. Got some stimulus into the economy. People getting a little bit more money. Everything is fine. People are like, whoa. Economy is really, really bad. I better not be spending my money right now. And that's what happens in a recession. A traditional recession with no inflation. People start saving more because they're afraid. When they're afraid to spend, what happens? They cut rates to get you to want to spend more. And they try a lot of things to get you to start putting your money, go to your small business, help your small business. They start a whole bunch of initiatives, right? We can't do that again this time. We can't lower rates because we have inflation. So that urge to get people in there, it doesn't work. But what's also happened? Inflation has been chewing people out of their savings. So whereas I might be like, whoa, I have $5,000 in my savings account. I'm going to keep it for a rainy day. All of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I have to dip into my savings account because food is like doubled since last year. I can't budget for that. Oh my God, I'm losing money now. That happens. And after COVID, which, I mean, let's face it, the government gave out a lot of money. After that happened, 2021 came around, you see over here, and you see savings rates just plummeting and plummeting and plummeting. We've started to stagnate off here a little bit. You see we've had a little bit of a couple pops here every now and again from June to July. Savings, this is because everybody's freaking out about gas prices, pumped up a little bit. Right now, October, I guess we don't really know what's happening after that. But my point being here, the more this goes down, people just don't have money to spend. They just don't have the money. And so once they stop running out of money to injecting into the economy, inflation should start coming back down. Not fast enough to stop the Fed, unfortunately. This will probably happen towards the end of the 2023. But that's the problem here. There's just no money. All the money is usually going to investors like you, me, that buy stuff for the long term, or the really rich guys at the top. What they do, just like, we know this by now. Let's go back to something like an Apple. Nice and easy to figure out. I gotta find Apple here. Oh, there it is. Back to the monthly chart. During that time frame, you invested. Just say investors. During 2008, what did we go by here? Could have even just gone by 2005 probably, because that's when the lowest, 2005 over here, August of 2005. So that's even before the financial crisis. So August 2005, right over here, right over there. January, big market pump. If you had your money in a savings account, earning a teeny bit of interest, if you just put that $5,000 in Apple, you're up like 12,000%. So, oh no, percentage calculate. Oh, I'm not even spelling it right, but it'll tell me. There you go. Where's that? So let's just go to. Oh no, it's not gonna. Omnia? No, is that what it's called? There we go. They're making this way too hard. There you go. $5,000. Apple went up in that year's. Let's just say 11,000%. That final value is $555,000. Don't know if that's actually accurate or not. Something seems to be off. Let's see, 2008. No, really, yeah, 10,000, 11,000%. Because they've done so many splits, but the upward move is still the same. No, something's off about this. Something has to be off about it. Whatever. Basically, people are running out of money. That's the thing you got to understand. When people really don't have money, the entire economy comes to a halt and very, very fast. And what would the government normally do in those situations? They would implement some type of stimulus. Let me just see something very fast. What's something that hasn't had a split? Yeah, they haven't had a split. Okay, let's go over here. From the lows of 2008. 2,500%? Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. This new free market thing is still blowing my mind. But yeah, okay, I'm not wrong. It's just... we put so much money into this system. It's unbelievable. But yeah. So, my point be all that... The normal levers that the Fed or the government could pull to help people when the economy is in bad shape, we really can't pull those same levers. That's the huge downside, the whole scary part of next year. What happens if the Fed doesn't blink? It's going to be the market versus the Fed. What happens if the Fed doesn't blink and they're like, hey, we told you guys all of last year, we're not going to stop until we hit 2%. And the market was like, oh no, he'll stop. Oh, what happens if they don't blink and we go into a recession and they're like, hey, we're still keeping interest rates at 5.5%, 6%. What happens? What happens if people don't have savings? How is the government going to try to help them out? If they try to print more money to fix all these problems, guess what? They actually have to go through the Fed first, and I don't know how that's going to work. But let's just say they go through the Congress and they don't actually ask the Fed. They say, hey, we're doing some type of stimulus plan to help people in need. Well, what does that do? That keeps inflation higher than it needs to be. And so eventually there's going to be some type of compromise there between Congress and the Fed. But to get there, it's just going to be messy. It's just going to be messy, messy, messy. Where's messy? See right here. And hey, Crypto Universe, happy to see you back, man. Hey, Trey. Ape is in really rough shape. Really, really rough shape. However, let's go to the monthly chart first. You can just see from the big pump we had initially, it's just come down a lot. Already broke down to new lows here last month. Had a breakdown a while ago, got rejected off of the support, then turned resistance, right? Excuse me. For now, as far as Ape is concerned, again, we had an opportunity to hold support. We weren't able to do that. We had another golden cross here that really didn't do much, unfortunately. Possible that it just had a really big ricochet moment or a really big reversal. But it bounced, kinda. I'll move there. Just like Bitcoin is having some trouble bouncing off of this level or breaking out of this level right here. Since everything seems to be so bearish right now, maybe you'd want to open up some shorts if it comes up to 371. But this will most likely over the next few weeks probably hit back over here at 325. And then if we get to some unlucky level where we have really bad numbers coming out at the beginning of July, like first couple weeks, not so much earnings, but more of just economic data, you might see it come all the way back down here to, $3, maybe $2.90. Maybe it's all the way $2.60 down here, but I'd probably just say $2.90 to $3 it might be down there. If you wanted to buy up again, you're going to want to buy this range. Ape is not something that usually has like really hard support levels. I like to buy ranges for this one. Range, pop, right? And then it came back down here again for third time, but this time, actually fourth time it worked right there too. But not, sometimes it just comes back down, then you trade the breakdown, and then you're making money shorting. For this one, you could try to buy some around the 320 level. Personally, it hasn't capitulated enough for me to want to try to buy that. So if it comes back down to $3 to $2.70 to $3, I'd be welcome to buy it. Anywhere like $2.90 is fine too, but then I'd try to hope for another pop, just like we had here, and there. But play it safe. But right now, be aware of this trend line right there. If we come up to it, probably going to get slammed back down. Sometimes ApeCoin goes against the grain. But we just had a golden cross with Bitcoin. So I'm still hopeful that we can have some type of pump up to 18,000. But I feel at this point, it's going to have to look very, very, it's not going to look organic. It's going to be very inorganic for it to happen, which means all of a sudden Bitcoin will just have this random positive spike, which will be annoying, but it happens every now and again where like this, where whales come in to show a level of support, and all of a sudden we're geared back up, we find that higher low, and there we go. But instead of this second part happening over here, after we pop, we're just going to probably just start coming back down a little bit more, unless we have some good news to continue that move upwards. And I don't know if we're going to have that good news, honestly. That's a guess, which is why I'm doing a lot more day trading these days. There you go. Let's see. And hey, Bedford, also number 3 has dropped to number 4 since 12/19. Oh, I'll have to take a look at that in a second here. And hey, guys, what do you think about AMC Ape? Your thoughts about the vote for Ape conversion back into AMC and the reverse stock split for AMC? I'm really worried about the reverse stock split. A reverse stock split is never good for a stock. Never. It'll probably The way you play a stock split normally, and this is back when I did my penny stock days when I was first learning, and I was like, oh, I bet I can make a bunch of money just doing penny stocks. Oh boy, was I wrong. But if you do it every now and again, it's still fun. Just, you got to be careful with it. Normally, you watch it through the split process. The day after it comes back and the split has been achieved, the reverse stock split here, I guess. What happens is it kind of dips for maybe a day or two, and then after that, it skyrockets. Everybody pumps into it, everybody buys it, and it's kind of like a short squeeze event that just happens because out of tradition, if you want to say. I don't know the exact reason, but this always happens where there's a little bit of a squeeze after it. Normally, when that occurs, you want to be holding it for, at most a week. Play the bounce, buy some options up, and have some fun with them. But you got to be very, very careful. Normally, what I do for something like an Ape or a GameStop or something that would has a really big amount of momentum behind it, not GameStop, I guess, because the price is too high. I would say buy out of the money calls that are pretty far out there. And then you got them really, really cheap so you can afford for them not to really take off. Like, you don't. When you're looking at the order flow and you see how much each option costs, there's usually a point where it goes down from like $1 to 50 cents to 10 cents to a penny. I normally look for that range in between a penny and about 15, 20 cents. And I buy around that range. And then as the squeeze happens, that should move up towards 50 cents to $1, and that's where I like to take my profits. It can go up to $2, $3, $4, $5 and make you a lot more money. You can scale it if that's what you're hoping for, but you got to be very, very careful as you play that. I don't know if Tops is the first coin I ever made a lot of money on as far as penny stocks. And look, it's still at $1.12 after all this time, probably with a few other stock splits there. Yeah, there was a split over here in 2020 September. So basically, what happens? Right here, exactly. You see the split, did nothing for a few days, and all of a sudden it took off. This after it took off, let's just assume the day after the split, it ran up around 408%. You play it out a little bit, and you gotta wait. So you might buy these options weeks out in advance. But again, if you're buying an option, this is daily chart. So if you're buying it, like it's 236, if you're buying a $7 option, that's going to be like a few weeks away, 2 weeks away. It's not going to be very expensive because how could a stock run up 200, 300% in a few days? Doesn't happen. Options, right? So your first thing is to do that. All right? Now, when it comes to stuff like this as well, the day after the split, at the morning, even if it doesn't have a big pop here or anything like that, you want to buy these calls as soon as possible. Or if you're not buying, if you're buying stock and not options, don't worry about this. But if you are buying options, you want to buy them as soon as possible, because you have to remember that when you go to an options markets like what we saw over here, they have their own bids and asks. So, show you this right here. If 5 people want the same option, that ask price may be, and this is a strike price of, let's just say, geez, yeah, let me just do this. A strike price of $1. This may just cost, this is just me making up numbers here, 20 cents, okay? But if 50 people are trying to buy that one option that's at a strike price of $1 or whatever, that price is probably actually going to be around 22 to 25 cents. There's a demand, supply and demand for options within the overall market. So, just like how it is with Tesla, the reason Tesla is so freaking expensive for the options is because so many people want them. Whereas if you go to Apple, a lot of people trade Apple options, but there's a lot more of them out there to be traded. So be careful of that first dynamic. As soon as the split happens, like the day after, I'm usually there to buy them up. Now, if we go over here to Tops, I guarantee this thing has had plenty of splits in the past. Here's a split right there. All right, split. Doesn't always happen like that first way, right? Doesn't always happen. Sometimes it comes back over here, it pops, and it comes back over to where you saw it right there. Now, with AMC having more notoriety, a lot more people look at it, pay attention to it, I would say it probably would do something more similar to the first one, but you just never know. So understand the reason why I try to go for those cheaper calls is because if I spend $150 on a YOLO play call for AMC and it doesn't work out, I am perfectly fine losing half of that, 75% of that $150. It's just part of the trade here, because if it does pop, then all of a sudden, boom, I'm looking really good. So you could buy those options out, like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance. This one after the split, it was 8 days. So 10 days, eight trading days. 2 weeks almost for strike there. Over here. Oh gosh, I messed up something here. Oh, I did something I wasn't supposed to. The numbers are all gone. Dollar index. Oh no, I messed up everything. Okay, let me refresh this. Please don't save the data that I just did. Oh, phew. Okay. Gave me a heart attack for a second. Okay, I'm back over here. And you can see what's happening. It's already going back down under $1. Normally, you just short this and you just let it go. We can see the pops right there, popped right there, pop, no pop right there, another split right here, happened right here, popped a few days later. Not even a big pop. It, this is big enough pop. But let's just take the day after, 72%. And it ran up a couple hundred. It just ran up 72% this time. You got to take your money when it comes or scale out. This one over here, next day it only ran up, like next 2 days, 29%. All right. This one over here, just so you could see. This one ended up running up 51, but if you waited a few more weeks, it popped up 615. You could buy multiple, you can take multiple shots of this thing after it happens. This is rare, right? Although I have to say, this is when I traded it. I remember because I made like $30,000 while sitting on the toilet getting ready to go to college class. Was this? Yeah. Because I was, I remember I was in Montana at the time. Yeah. I remember that closely because this is when I was a senior. I was just woke up. It was a really cold morning in Montana. It was, November. Yeah, I remember it. And was looking at my phone on old Robinhood. This is before Robinhood looked all sleeked and new. Robinhood looked like trash back in the day, but it was a way to trade that I never experienced before. And then all of a sudden, boom. You know what? The crazy thing, I made like $30,000 and I sold here. I didn't sell up here. I sold right here. And to this day, it's still my personality as a trader to sell here instead of here. Now the difference is I might scale out 80% here, another 10% here, another 10% here, maybe a little bit left. If I have any left, I'll sell it here. But you will learn a lot about yourself while trading those types of plays. But yeah, have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. I treat these as complete casino gambling plays. However, there is a strategy which I hope I was able to explain to you as far as how I like to trade them. But it's really about patience. Patience. As far as AMC is concerned, go over here very fast. Let's get I'll go out of the way very fast. This isn't really something that's had to go through splits, right? Back over here is $16 and it fell down to $1.26. That's even COVID. Came back down again to, December, right? Lockdowns, yada, yada, yada. But even though it came down, it still never even got to that territory because people still consider this was before the meme stock days, where institutional investors were like, okay, AMC can survive. Let's buy it down here, and it should do really well. Well, what ended up happening at that time is institutional investors bought a bunch down here. Meme coin people, meme stock people pushed it up, and they sold right here and they sold right there in large amounts. There wasn't even an investor that came in here. You can see that big double top, right? Big double top, big double bottom here actually as well. If I go over here to AMC now. See me. When it was $22, no. Oh, I guess it doesn't go back in time far enough. No. Oh, I did not type that word right. $38.40. Oh, this is actually the price range here. Never mind. Okay. This. They were selling off around 40, 50. They were selling off a lot. Shares. They're selling off all their shares as much as they could and making a killing off of it. Why is it not letting me? Okay, well, it's not letting me click all this. It's all of a sudden it's grayed out here. Oh, there it goes. I don't care enough about it. But yeah, they were selling off in droves, and some of the large investors really sold off as well. This is looking just like a crypto coin now. It continues to capitulate here. We're finding a support zone, though, so if you want to buy around this zone, you know, you should get an opportunity. I don't know why I made that circle so big, right? But yeah, it'll be interesting. The one thing here, though, just to be aware, you're going to be hoping for money because this is AMC. Everybody loves to kind of play around with it and stuff like that. It's at 384, but it's not at like a dollar or something like that, right? So this will be a little bit different than the average one, but that's how I would play it personally. There we go. All right. AMC CEO rug pull. They are trying to devalue that stock a little bit right now. It'll be interesting to see what happens after. After the stock split here. After the stock split. Oh, yeah. Hello. Yep. He wants another treat, but he'll get another treat later on. Oh, and bind for, yeah, you're right. Okay, let's see. There you go. Bideford said that whale number 3 is now whale number 4. Let's talk about that. Yeah, Binance Cold Wallet moved up. Whale number 4. Has he been selling off? Oh, yeah, he sold off a lot on the 19th there. A lot just on that one day. Anything happened after the 19th? Right here. He's the one that was pushing Bitcoin down. That was him moving all that Bitcoin out. Looks like we got to pump back up. Okay. So that whole day was probably just him selling off Bitcoin there. Okay, let's go back over here very fast though. There you go, so you guys can see it. Yeah, that was on the 19th as well. He hasn't sold anything off since then though. But after he sold, Bitcoin didn't go down, it came up. So that's interesting to see. 12.7, yeah. Before then buying a bunch of Bitcoin. It'll be interesting to see what this person does over the next few months as Bitcoin faces, you know, a few more hardships. But you can see this guy sold off a large portion. Go over here very fast. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on, guys. My tinfoil hat. Elon sold a lot December 12th, 13th, and 14th. This guy sold off a lot on the 19th, 7th, 13th, back in November as well. Did Elon sell any in November? He did. Sometimes I wonder about that. My tinfoil theory is maybe this is Elon, but I doubt it. I would have to say this is probably some government or somebody that has the backing of a government, like a Saudi prince or something like that, or a Russian oligarch, who knows. But I wonder if this is Elon. I wonder. Because that's a pretty big move around the same time Elon sold off a whole bunch of his assets and Twitter as well. Hey, Ken, and that's when you knew 9 to 5 weren't for you? Probably. I mean, for me, I didn't mind working in corporate America. There were some good aspects to it. This is partly my fault as an individual, which I just refuse to work on myself on at this part. I don't tend to get along with my bosses, but I tend to get along with the boss's boss. And I have a sense of arrogance about me. Not like if we were just to meet and we became friends, you wouldn't see that type of arrogance. But when it comes to work, to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you making this whole process more complicated than it has to be type of stuff, right? And if a boss can articulate it to me, like why it needs to be done, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, good. I'll tell the team. We'll all get it done, right? But if they can't, I'm like, then why are you making us do this? Because, I haven't had many bosses that could take criticism as like how they would dish out criticism, right? Constructive criticism. I'm not like badgering them or none of that. But boy oh boy, boy oh boy oh boy. I've never been fired for a job, but I have quit a few jobs. And only a couple. I normally don't like to move around too much. But the last job I quit, within a month, my boss had been fired because nobody would do the job I would be doing afterwards. Because you know how you have your job description? I'm always been one of those guys that's willing to go outside of my job description to help out the team. But when I leave, the next person that does that job, like the next person they hire, they might not know how to do Excel spreadsheets. They might not know how to manage a full team. They might not know how to keep morale up in the office, because it's hard to keep people happy in an office space. It's not gonna lie, it's tough. You gotta, you get the company to give them a little bit of a budget. Say, hey, everybody, dinner's on the company tonight. Let's go out and have some fun, drinks and get some pizza and brats. Something really simple, but everybody appreciates it, right? Those little things. People don't always know how to do that. And when I left, apparently a bunch of staff also quit because I was the person keeping them at the job, besides the nice salaries, I would assume. But then all of a sudden they can go out and like, oh yeah, go out and find another job, have more fun with it. But I don't put up with corporate bull, so to speak, and a lot of people you're supposed to so you can climb the ladder. Once I kind of realized I'm not going to be climbing the ladder like I thought, I was like, I mean, you can try to fire me, but you're not going to be able to. You could try to annoy me to when I quit, which I did. But I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, it wasn't hard to just... well, okay, by then, I should say I was already making money trading, and I was like, I can go full-time on this. But like my first job out of college wasn't even a reputable job. I did some freelancing while I was searching for jobs, and I worked for this company. I worked at a morgue. A morgue. A morgue. Let me tell you this, a morgue, where like dead people are. Okay? So I've seen some crazy stuff. And it was a dog and animal morgue as well. That was even the sad part. That was the sad part. Human, sure. I mean, there's humans. I live in the ghetto. I've seen dead people. But animals, it's sad. But I worked at this place. I don't remember what the name is, so let me actually just go to maps very fast. I can find it if I go to maps. Oh gosh. I don't Tacoma. Oh no, I know it's all the way over here. Yeah, it's by the park. Okay, yeah, it's over here. Yeah, it's Tacoma Mausoleum and Mortuary. So it's a mausoleum, which is pretty nice. But then here's the place where you burn the bodies and stuff like that. But yeah, I used to park my car right over there while walking to work. And have the worst bosses imaginable. Now, this was freelance work, so I wasn't like that. I was there 9 to 5 every day. But I remember I had an office space in there if I ever needed to come in and do like pretty much all the marketing stuff, their online stuff. I was in the middle of building them a website when I quit, and I just didn't even bother to give them the information because these are horrible bosses. The guy that ran this thing, his mother also worked there part-time. You might even see her Lexus out in the front. No, those are just worker cars. Mom's Lexus? No, nope, just truck. And there's the way to the cremation area plus the larger mausoleum over there as well. But I didn't like coming to this place at all. But the guy that was the boss of me, he hated my guts only he's like one of those like slippery slide managers. After, because in my contract I literally said I can leave whenever I want to if I don't like you. But he did not know that. His mom did, but you know, his mom enabled him. She was a nice lady, but she enabled him. I'll say that. So you guys know that I went to this private school over here, Charles Wright Academy. Okay, nice, lovely private school. I went there on scholarship because you know what? I grew up in the ghetto, did not have a lot of money. This is a very nice school. I mean, everything about it's nice. I love it so much. Buildings are nice. Field is nice. Track is nice. Even as an alum, I can go back and like walk around this track, no problems. I know all the security guys. I know all the maintenance guys because I used to help out the maintenance guys for my community service hours. But this guy that worked at that mausoleum place, his mom owned it. He'll probably own it one day. His brother sends his kids here. Because his brother is a very successful guy and the morgue field as well. The whole family does it. But the dad is the brother is very successful. So he resented me because I was able to get to the school and he didn't have the money to send his own son to the school. And so every single time he would bash me about how I had such a great opportunity. And I was like, yeah, I did. I wasn't going to, again, my arrogance showing out a little bit. But he hated me and I hated him. And then one day he said something snarky when I visited for like, I was only in the office like maybe once a week. He said something very snarky. He wanted me to go drive somewhere for him for like Olympia, which is like all the way down here. Right? I live over here. I guess over there. Tacoma's over here. He wanted me to drive from all the way over here to all the way over there, which is like 45 minutes, you know, there and back. And he was like, I was like, oh yeah, I can put it on my my schedule, and I can I'll bill you for the hours and the gas and the mileage and stuff like that and the time, right? I'm not gonna bill him for everything. Because again, it's in the contract. He was like, no, we're not gonna pay you to do the trip. You're supposed to do the trip anyway. And I was like, no, that's not how it works. And he's like, if that's not how you want to do it, then I don't know if we need you at this office. And then I was like, thanks for your time. See you later. I'll expect the bill. I'll bill you, and if you don't pay, I'll go to the Attorney General's office because the Attorney General's office has a really good thing about this type of stuff. Yeah. And then his mom called me about an hour later saying, hey, we're so sorry. Can you please come back? And by then I was like, no. But that was my first job out of college. It was bad. Because it was just really, really bad. Everything about that place was just bad. The only part I really enjoyed was helping people out. But it wears down on you to be nice to people who are grieving. And I don't mean that like, oh wow, this person is grieving. Yeah. Like I have too much empathy, so I feel sad with them, and I don't like feeling sad for a long period of time. So you know, it was a journey of a place, but some cool people work there. Most of the people that maintain the area, they were really chill people. But I never really hung out with them because we kind of like had two different income levels. and like they didn't like the places that I like to go out to eat, and I didn't like the places they go out to eat. Although we like to drink at the same places, which made it pretty fun. But as far as eating in restaurants, I like the not classier restaurants, but just I can't just have McDonald's or fried or fast food every single day. I'm fat enough as it is, and I was fat enough then too. But yeah, oh gosh. Let's see. And hey, Bideford, your tinfoil hat I'm wearing too. I mean, I think about it sometimes. I really, really do. And hey, Joseph, Montana holla. Oh gosh, yeah, Montana was it was so cold. And that here, go back to that map very fast. Oh, I already got out of it. Here, hold on. I was exactly here when I realized that. So you got a Bozeman. Bozeman's like just one big road that way, one big road that way. Back when I was there wasn't all this stuff. All these houses were kind of being built up. There's a bunch of houses over here now that it's not on this thing, but there's a whole bunch of houses over here now. But I was literally right here. So Kagi Avenue, yeah. I was in this building right here, 1724 South 19th Street, I guess. I remember because there was a really nasty dip right here going in here. But right there, because the garbage can's right over there. It's a horrible place to live. But you know, what are you gonna do when you're a poor college kid, right? You find the cheapest place and you settle down. But I was right here, and I was like, you know what? And then I walked my way over to school. Walk, and then I just went to I think it was this room over here, no, Reed Hall right there. But yeah. It was a great time. Well, everything but the college was great. I love Montana. If I can find out, yeah. There's only one downtown here, but it's very, very nice little downtown street. Quiet. As quiet as it can be. Right? Okay, now it's maybe more busy here. But I used to eat most of my time out here. You got my old glasses here at the Bent Lens. I'm a big small business guy. But there's a restaurant over here that I used to love. Is that it? Oh, I don't know. Basically, there's a nice restaurant over here where you can eat outside, but it's like, since it's a street, you can only like eat small place. Wild Joe's, no. I don't know what it was, but they had a great hamburger and bisque. I know that sounds weird, but a hamburger and bisque. It was good. It was good. Yeah, I miss Montana a little bit. Mostly the fly fishing, but the area was pretty nice. I think now a lot of people go there for Yellowstone and stuff. I almost actually decided to live out here. Like, actually, like, settle down with some nice Wi-Fi and just... it's actually over here, Big Timber. Small little town, but the Wi-Fi wasn't good enough. Services weren't good enough for what I wanted, so I just ended up moving back over here to the big old city. But yeah, I miss Montana, especially the fly fishing was great. What will I do if the reverse split for AMC gets voted for and my average price of 26 turns into 266? I'll be screwed and my 1,000 shares will decrease to 100 shares. Will I be trapped? Well, you won't. What do you mean by trapped? Like, if it gets voted, yes. The split doesn't happen that same day. It'll probably happen weeks, if not like a month out. So you'll have an ample opportunity to get out of your position. But I have to say that, like, just the talk about it is going to lower the price. We saw the price just a few seconds ago. It's been going down because of that. So everybody knows it's going to probably happen if the vote goes through, right? So you won't be trapped. Like, you'll have time to get out, but be careful because, you know, the value is still going to be falling just the same. And by that I mean, if you go over here back to tops, because this is something I've done so many times with tops. This is the weekly chart. Forget my bad drawings over there. Let's go to the daily chart. Never mind, my bad. Okay. Split happened over here. If you continue to hold, and this right here is a big if. Maybe it'll rally, maybe it won't. But if you continue to hold, you know, now it's down 54% since last split. It just keeps on happening. So you got to be careful. Luckily, AMC is a different type of company than Tops. Tops is a shipping company here. But as far as AMC is concerned, they're going to have to fundamentally change the way they run their business, and they're going to have to get very frugal without messing up the moviegoer's experience. I'm not entirely sure how that goes down, but they need to find a way to make money. There are different ways they could do this, but it might mean that they have to close down hundreds of stores and only keep the profitable ones open. And they might sell them off to other movie theaters, which at this point, I don't know how many people want to invest in the movie theater business in the realm of, in the new world of Disney Plus, Netflix, and stuff like that. It seems kind of hard. So, if we go over here, AMC is losing almost $1 billion, $820 million. That's a lot. They got to figure out a way to cut that down. And, I haven't looked at any of their numbers. Let's do that very fast. I got time. I don't know how this one works. Let's just go through last quarter's earnings. So, total revenues grew to $968 million, 0.4 million compared to $763 million from the third quarter of 2021. So they've actually grown. They've shown some growth. Net loss increased to $226 million compared to a net loss of $224 million for the third quarter of 2021. So they're still losing, right? Adjusted was the EBITDA decreased by 7.5 million to a loss of 12.9 million compared to a loss of 5.4 million for the third quarter of 2021. Okay. Loss for the quarter, $226 million loss. All right. You can see how much of a loss it was in 2021. They're digging themselves out of a hole here. But you would hope they were going in the right direction. All of a sudden, what happened? What happened? They got to keep cutting. Net cash used in operating activities, a lot, loss. And again, what happened? It was looking okay. It was positive. Whoa, what happened? All right. Now, let's get over here. Attendance in the thousands. 2021, 2022. Looking nice. Now over here, 2021, still going in the right direction. So they're making progress in getting people in, but somehow they're spending a lot of money. I just don't know where that money is going. So if you were to go over here, this is like if you wanted to go a long-term investment in there. Okay, revenue. They're making money with food, admissions, other theaters. Looks like they're making money. They're making money off of the stuff you would expect them to be. All the overpriced crap. Operating costs and expenses. So what's exactly been going up here? You can see from 2021, they're making more. They're making a lot more in revenue. So that's good. Over here, exhibition costs. So this is costs and expenses. Film exhibition costs have soared. Why is that? Why? Food and beverage costs, inflation, hit them hard. Operating expenses, including depreciation, amortization below, that's gone up. The rent has gone up as well, but not too much, but it's gone up. Merger, acquisition, other costs, that's gone down, that's good. Depreciation, okay, yes. Operating costs and expenses, okay, overall up. Now, operating loss, let's see. Corporate borrowing, that's down a little bit. Sure, I'll take it. Lease obligations down a little bit. That's good. All right. All right. So before I do that, okay. I'm no film expert, so let me just kind of Google what is a film exhibition cost. What? is film exhibition cost? Somebody's looking at the same stuff I had and asking questions. Uh, Hope this guy made some money after all this hard work. So, they are paying about 400 million for this. Okay, what is the expense related to cost of licensing to show this movie? Is it paid up front? I would expect it to be like the cost of licensing to show the movie, but I don't know. Um, so back in the day when I used to work for a theater corporation, a huge amount of expenses given a film was the cost of the cans. The hexagonal cans the films came rolled up in before they were spliced together, like depicted in Fight Club. This may have other more itemized expenses within it, but in general, the least cost of a can for X amount of time was set amount of $25,000 for some, more for others. Ticket sales were a factor to absorb the cost of the cans, which is why the managers always assert that the theaters make nothing on ticket sales and are kept afloat by concessions. I imagine that this has changed a bit since I was around back in something like 2003. So it's possible this expense you're looking at is a combination of the cost of cans alongside of any additional exhibition expenses that can be tacked onto that. Possibly machine maintenance, possibly that stupid fee businesses have to pay if they want to have any copyright music playing in lobbies on a pre-show. Okay. This cost is directly related to licensing each movie. So it seems like it's getting more expensive for them to deal with movies and whatnot to pay for them. So that's interesting. Because it's 2022. It's overall it's quite a bit compared to 2021. Probably less movies, honestly, right? But it's from year to year, Q3 to Q3, it's up quite a bit. They need to figure that out. And to me, that seems like something that's very, very hard to figure out. Because you're not going to raise food even more. You're not going to raise the concessions. They're already through the roof, right? I took my sister out to the movies last time I did. Now, we got not just the popcorn and stuff, but it was like over $100. I'm not lying. It was over $100. Two people. Nachos. AMC has a bunch of good food though, so that's just me. They got cheese sticks and mozzarella sticks. It's good. But yeah, so that seems to me to be one of the big things that's hurting them. We don't need to go diving into this international markets. Oh, I'm pushing down on control. Yeah, that seems to be a big part of it, and they just need more people coming into the theaters. So more people coming into the theaters, and then on top of that, they have to figure out a way to get that cost down, and I have no idea how they would do that. So, excuse me, what that might entail, honestly, if they wanted to do this, the way I could see them being saved is, and this is, I honestly have no idea how this would work out. It wouldn't be a bought out. They'd have to do a merger. They can merge with another company. All right. Now, while merging with the other company, they'd be able to use all of that company's movies and screenings. So, for example, you can imagine, very loose example here, you can imagine a Netflix but at a movie theater. So anything you could watch at Netflix, they would see what Netflix would see. Hey, everybody likes watching this Netflix original. I don't know what a good Netflix original is, but everybody likes watching this movie, Austin Powers. So, for inside one theater on a Friday night, they'll have an Austin Powers theater night or something like that, and people will come and spend money to watch that one movie. Do that over and over and over again. And you know, each theater has like one's doing Austin Powers, one's doing Gladiator, another one's doing this, right? And by Netflix owning the rights to it for streaming, it also entails them the movie rights as well. Does that make sense? That's how I think they could get out of this, but I don't know how all of that merging would occur. But that seems to be the way that I would personally take the company. I don't think that's how they're personally going to structure themselves, because if you look at like AMC's are pretty nice inside, at least the ones around here. AMC Lakewood, right? You got your nice lobbies, you got your food and stuff, you got your nice chairs, your soda machines. You get to choose your seats, so to speak. Transformers. Brawl. Stuff like this, right? How, like, Fathom Events rents stuff out here for that. But, like, through Netflix and stuff like that. They got an arcade inside. More ways to make money. Aliens. Whatever. That's what you're looking for in there. And some of the ones... not here, but other ones, like I went to one with a couple friends in Philadelphia last time I was over there. They served alcohol in there as well. So, you know, you could have a fun night out of it. There's a movie theater I love going to in Tacoma. It's called... It's right by the bakery. Where is it at? The Grand Cinema. The Grand. Okay. This teeny... You saw that tiny building. It's right here. So, let me do it here. That's the whole building. It only goes back that far, and it only takes up like half of this space, right? It only takes up that half, because right there, there's a weddings, anniversaries, novelty store. Then over here, there's a nice little cafe that's really, really good. Really, really expensive, but good. But you can see, my friend's dad is a part owner of this business. So it's like from there to there, right? But you can see the movies they have. The Menu, that's the good one. Fablemans. Let me just go over here to the website, actually. That'd make my life a lot easier. They have something called Weird Elephants. You can see the elephant right there. But they got Avatar, The Whale, stuff like that, right? Banshees, whatever this is. But you could also rent the theater if you wanted to. But let me go over here. Film Festival, yes. Weird Elephant, there we go. So, Weird Elephant, the Grand Cinema is every other week, late night cinephile infusion, right? It's, you know, it's sponsored by the House of Cannabis. It's a really chill, like, just, everything's good. You can see the logo. It's still like an elephant with tusk with tentacles coming out of it. It's a fun place. But you get Akira, you know, the anime. There is a large fan base that likes this type of stuff, and they'll come out to watch it. So you can imagine just filling up a larger theater like this. Skin Marink. I don't know what that is, but like go to Akira right here, right? Edition now. Oh, they got a new edition now, so they're kind of showing it. So people can come over there and they can watch it. They can talk about it. They can meet with other people that are like share their interest, right? And then kind of bringing this around to a crypto spot. Let's say Akira was being shown at AMC. AMC could say, hey, by showing up to Akira, you get this custom Akira NFT. And I know that sounds kind of weird talking about NFTs. If you use NFTs as community building tools, it's awesome. Just don't say, hey, I'm popular, buy my NFT and help make me rich. That's not the goal here, right? But you can give out free stuff. And NFTs are very easy to make. There's a huge crypto base out there. Get your Akira NFT. Really simple stuff, okay? And again, you could work that out with the people that own the rights and stuff like that. That may mean different contracts with Netflix or whatever company they decide to pair up with. But it's stuff like that. I mean, and it's not just movies like that. They have some freaking weird movies playing there. Although I think the last one I went to was just Alien, the first Alien movie. I loved watching it in theaters. I have to say, it was great. But you know, they have free family flick nights there. You know, My Neighbor Totoro. Freaking awesome. It's a great movie, right? And I watch it all the time, not all the time, but I watch it. And, you know, but I would like to watch it at a theater, so I might go there, right? I just have to find a friend to usually go with. You don't go to these things alone. It's always weird. But, you know, outdoor movies. You can go. They have Stewart's Hyde Park, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. You can have a lot of cool stuff. You know, you work your way into the community. That's what they have to be able to do, and it's not going to be easy. But that's personally how I would actually transition AMC to becoming a more profitable company. You don't have to fill up every movie theater left and right. You know, maybe since Avatar 2 came out, you could fill up every single theater as you want to because you know it's going to be sold out. But, you know, you could see, you know, when Avatar 2 is coming out like months in advance, right? Sometimes there's little hiccups and stuff like that. That could happen, of course. But, you know, why not just have, and again, it's not like there's AMCs everywhere around here. There's like maybe one for like a couple million people. Like there's a lot, there's not many AMCs. Do it like that. That's how I would to make it profitable. Again, would that be a logistical, that's a huge monumental task. I'm not saying it's to be something easy, but also the people that work at AMC at the top are being paid millions of dollars in salaries. So, you know, why not? But yeah, that's how I would transform AMC and how I would want it to be more profitable. But as far as your positions and stuff like that, until they turn that number around, that $230-something million, right here, this $263 million right there. Oh boy, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really, really hard. And then just operating expenses right here. You see how this came up? I think that's a lot to do with inflation. And I haven't seen movie prices go up too much. So, you know, it's going to take a while. If they do turn themselves around, it's going to take a while. Other than that, they're going to go bankrupt. So just be careful with it. As inflation goes down, maybe their prices will go down. But I don't. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. I made my own ladder as a couple men in the corporate world felt threatened by my willingness to do more than my own job, and they felt like I was trying to take their job, so I quit both times. Oh yeah, I was always trying to take my boss's job. I mean, they probably knew it, but again, I get along with my boss's bosses or the presidents of companies a lot. Going over to Joseph in Missoula, and he's talking about Montana right here. You know what a lot of corporate bosses like to do? They like to go shooting. They like to go hunting. They like to go fly fishing or just fishing in general. And sometimes like to go golfing. I'm not much of a golfer myself, but I'm always okay to tag along and kind of learn. You know, I liked that about them, the bosses. But my bosses, oh no, they hated me. So yeah, definitely take advantage and just quit. They'll be worse off without you. We just had -17 here in Missoula. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I know exactly what it is. Windy as heck in Big Timber. Yeah, it is. I matched up with girls from Big Timber every now and again, and on Tinder back in the day, and they'd always come out to. They would always plan a city trip to Bozeman, and then I'd hang out with them then. Loki says hello again. Yeah. Oh, he heard me talking about you. Or he heard me talking about him. The other place, I think I met some girls one time, just like really weird locations, was Troy, Montana. I used to hang out with a girl around there, but I think she actually lives in Muckleshoot up here, Mukilteo now. Her dad moved over here. I think she's married now or has a boyfriend. I saw her a few years ago for New Year's. She hit me up and I was like, oh my God, you're in Washington. I don't think about people moving too much. I'm always like, I move, sure, but other people, nah, they must stay wherever they are. Yeah, Troy, right here. So this is Montana right here. This is Idaho. It's like right along that border, this small little town, Troy. I visited it a couple times, usually on the way up to Canada, just to have some fun up here and just chill out with friends. But really, Troy, not really Troy. There's a river over here. Kootenay River. I never pronounced that properly. But yeah, rivers, lakes. It's usually this lake up here. It's really, really nice. Montana has a lot of nice wildlife up here. Really nice as well. Idaho has a nice little lake up here. Although I've never been to this lake as far as, have I? No. I've only ever been up here to Coeur d'Alene because you take that really pesky road right here to drive over it. And I hate this road. I hate this road so much. Wait for it. The view is beautiful. But this whole road going up into the mountains, it just sucks. I-90 just sucks. You can usually see some houseboats over here, which is pretty nice. I don't see any houseboats though now. Actually, I think they're on this side. Oh, you don't see any on there right now. I can talk about like big houseboats. Let's see. There you go. But yeah. I miss good old Montana. Let's see. There we go. Best fly fishing in the world on the Yellowstone right outside Livingston, 20 miles east of Bozeman over the pass. It was great. Part of the reason I didn't do too well in my college courses is because I skipped a lot of college classes to go fly fishing. No joke. Fly fishing was amazing. And again, my arrogance as well. I didn't really find much value of college classes, to be honest. I preferred to go to the library, swipe my little card pass, and just walk up and read a book about marketing, read a book about business. They seem to teach me a lot more than just what I learned from my teachers. I think colleges are great if you want to work in a corporate business and you want to earn a good living in that corporate business. But I don't think necessarily they're great if you want to become an entrepreneur. But although I probably wasn't taking the right courses for that, maybe. I think at the end of the day, like if there was a passion business that I would want to start, it would be helping like the tech companies of the world, the corporate giants of the world, like the Apples, the Googles, the Microsofts. Could even be an AMC or something like that, right? Helping them train their employees for corporate jobs out of high school. So they can get a... So out of high school, this guy, like you say, out of high school, you can get paid $50,000, right? Now, there wouldn't be totally like a whole bunch of these positions, but I could help Google say, hey, this guy gets 40,000, 50,000, whatever you want to say, out of high school. He's working for you, and in 4 years, if he graduates from your plan, which he just starts at the bottom and he works his way up, he could be up to $70,000, $80,000, right? And then he has a contract to work with you guys for the next 5 years or something like that. So they kind of build that cost up there. And so he works within your system. And if he passes the Google system for this job, he's also qualified to go work at the Apple equivalent of this job, the hedge fund equivalent of this job. You know what I mean? You okay, Loki? He's just wagging his tail and looking at me like he just wants belly rubs or something. Yeah. But yeah, that'd be something that'd be pretty chill. But yeah, fly fishing at Montana. Oh my gosh. I caught a big pike out in Montana. I don't have access to my Facebook account. I don't use it on desktop. But I got a big old pike on mine. Massive, massive pike. PCC was the highest since COVID crash. Your opinions on what that may mean ahead? Calm down. It just kind of feeds back into that narrative that we're just not looking healthy overall. It may change up. Maybe we peaked. Maybe. But I would still say it just shows how bad of in a situation we are right now. $5 for candy. Hey, Echo Peak. Well, I'll tell you something right here. Back in the day, for AMC, which is over here next to the military base. No, it's the military base. We gotta go up a little bit higher. Yeah, AMC, look right here. What you do over here now is you go right here, AMC movie theater. I'll tell you a secret. You don't want to pay high prices. You come around the corner. You go over here, like a 5-minute walk, and then you go right there. See this little area? See right here, those little businesses. There's a Target over there if you want to do it as well. Come right here, take a left, you take a turn, you go to Dollar Tree. Then, for all you young ladies out there, or just ladies, you go in here, you spend a few bucks, you put those Cracker Jacks in your purse, you put them on your pants, you hide them somewhere, the candy, and then somehow in the middle of the movie you just open them up, or you actually open them up before you go in there. I've learned that. And then you just eat them in the theater, just if you want to. The AMC, it's pretty expensive to go to AMC. It's like AMC Lakewood menu. Oh, not. Oop, yeah, okay. It's like order now. Let's get my zip code. Maybe it won't let me. $98499. And I go. I don't know why it's not working for me. Can I go to any of these? Maybe I can't order online for any of these. But basically, oh my god, look at it. Yeah, the cup is $19.99 with tax, and the bowl is $25 with tax. Should I say more? I mean, honestly, should I say more than that? They can be a little expensive, right? Now you're gonna probably take this back home, so it's a collector's edition type stuff. But I mean, $25 plus tax, which in Washington is around 10%, excuse me. So you know, oh, double decker shakes. They're turning into Robin, Red Robin. Let me try this one more time. 98445. Okay, there you go. You can know my location. It won't let me. I guess it doesn't work out here. But yeah, you could see it's pretty expensive. Pretty expensive. I dated a girl from Libby down the road from Troy. I don't think I probably passed through Libby a few times. My friend dated a woman from Butte. He hated Butte. Nobody likes Butte, I don't think. But yeah, he stopped dating her after a while. See, I detail Luke Grimes' truck. Oh, that's freaking awesome, Joseph. I like Yellowstone a lot. I like that show a lot. Although it's kind of weird right now, they're kind of going into like the politics and stuff like, oh no, stay out on the ranch, do some cool stuff. But it seems like this next season, which I haven't got myself caught up in, they go back to like the ranch, like, you know, fighting for the ranch type of stuff, which will be pretty fun. Oh. There you go. Loki's over here. He really wants attention. I think he smells something outside, so he wants to go out there. But okay, everybody, it was a nice long stream. I liked hanging out with you guys for a while. It's a 2-hour stream today. Tomorrow, after I wake up, I want to let you guys know that I will be live for a while. I don't expect many people to kind of watch because it might be a little bit more dry than this normal stuff, which is already pretty dry enough, right? But I will be doing live technical analysis on Apple, Tesla, maybe a couple day trades with you guys. And I'll try to get to bed up tonight so I can actually do that. And then we'll be talking about some news that comes along too. But mostly, to be like news in trading, news and technical analysis live to see how things are working out. And then we'll be seeing if there's any breaking news or bad news coming out as well. Yes, me. And hey, Joseph, it's very, very good. I'd recommend watching it. I'd wait for the entire season to be done and then just like pay for 1 month and just binge watch it. It's that good of a show. You can binge watch it all the way through. And hey, Erica Pink, hey, Joseph, hey, Bideford, everybody, Marvin the Great.